Imagine waking up on a planet where the sky glows a soft rust red, where gravity feels lighter under your feet, and where every sound inside. Your home echoes slightly differently because the atmosphere outside is too thin to carry noise the way Earth does. Now, imagine that this home you're waking up in was designed entirely by artificial intelligence. An AI that understands Mars better than any human ever. Could an AI that has calculated every risk, every temperature shift, every dust storm pattern, and turned all of that into a place where humans could survive, grow, and maybe one day thrive? But here's the real question. If we truly lived on Mars, how would AI design our homes to make life not just livable, but comfortable, familiar, and maybe even inspiring? The hook is simple but powerful. Our future on Mars would depend on how well AI understands what it means to be human. Before anything else, AI would be forced to solve the biggest challenge of Martian living, the planet itself. Mars is cold, extremely dry, and blasted with radiation that would be deadly without protection. That means the first thing AI would do is dig, because underground is the safest place to be. It would analyze the soil composition, the depth needed for stability, and the ideal temperature zones beneath the surface. Then it would generate blueprints that human engineers could barely imagine, interconnected living tunnels made from compressed Martian regolith, sealed airtight, with walls designed to bend slightly rather than crack during seismic vibrations. This wouldn't just be a bunker. It would be a breathing, adapting environment shaped by data rather than guesswork. Inside these underground structures, I would try to recreate something familiar, not Earth itself, but the feeling of Earth. Our brains are wired for sunlight, open spaces, and warmth. Without those, long-term life on Mars becomes psychologically dangerous. So AI would design artificial skylights that mimic Earth's daylight cycle with subtle color and brightness changes that shift throughout the day. It would create living areas with curved architecture because humans naturally feel calmer in rounded spaces than in harsh, sharp corners. It would adjust air pressure, humidity, and temperature constantly, learning from the behavior of the humans living inside. If stress levels rise, the lighting might soften. If people become inactive, the environment might encourage movement by gradually altering temperature or airflow. But the most fascinating part is how personalized these homes would become. I would learn your routines. What time you wake up, what kind of temperature you prefer at night, whether you like quiet mornings or energetic ones. Your home would evolve with you, almost like a living organism adapting to its resident. Instead of you adjusting the thermostat or setting reminders, the environment itself would take care of you before you even realized you needed something. It's the closest thing to a fully responsive habitat humanity has ever imagined. And as we imagine this new Martian lifestyle, you have to ask yourself, would living in a home designed by AI change what home means to us? Once humans begin adapting to life inside these AI-crafted Martian homes, the next challenge becomes community. A single home is easy enough to maintain, but an entire colony of people living beneath the surface requires coordination on a level we never needed on Earth. This is where AI steps into a new role, not just as a designer but as a city planner. It would study human movement patterns, social behavior, and emotional needs to shape spaces where people could gather without feeling confined. Because on Mars, isolation isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Humans need interaction, shared experiences, and a sense of belonging to stay mentally healthy in an alien world. So AI would create shared hubs that subtly encourage connection. Passageways between homes might widen or narrow depending on how often residents use them. Lounges and communal areas might be placed at natural intersections where people are most likely to pass by one another. Even the acoustics of these spaces would be designed to feel warm and inviting, balancing quiet privacy with gentle background activity that reminds you you're not alone. Over time, AI might even rearrange certain spaces, making them larger or smaller based on how people naturally use them, turning the colony into a flexible, ever-changing environment shaped by the community itself. But life on Mars isn't just about surviving, it is about thriving in a place where everything works differently from Earth. That means I would also take responsibility for creating simulated outdoor experiences. Since real Martian outdoor activity is limited, dangerous, and only possible with protective suits, The inside world has to replace the psychological benefits of nature. AI might develop virtual gardens using real plants grown under artificial light, arranged in patterns that mimic Earth's forests or parks. It would monitor carbon dioxide levels from human activity and adjust plant layouts to maximize oxygen production while still maintaining an aesthetically pleasing environment. Even the scent of these areas could be controlled, giving humans small reminders of Earth's forests, oceans, or fields. The homes themselves would also draw energy from AI-optimized systems. Solar panels on Mars collect less power than on Earth due to dust and distance from the sun. So AI would constantly predict weather patterns to place and adjust energy infrastructure in the most efficient way possible. It would store excess energy during dust-free periods and redirect it to essential systems during storms. That means your home's temperature, lighting, life support systems, and even water recycling would remain stable regardless of what Mars throws at you on the surface. AI would also play a major role in safety. Every home would be equipped with sensors tracking structural pressure, radiation levels, oxygen flow, and even tiny vibrations in the walls. If anything shifts, cracks, or weakens, the AI would alert the colony instantly and redirect resources to repair it. In some cases, it might deploy robotic units to fix damage before humans even notice a problem. Living in a place like this might feel strange at first, but over time, you'd start trusting the system as much as you trust gravity or weather on Earth. Now, the real question is this. If AI is managing everything from comfort to safety, how much freedom would humans actually have in designing their own lives on Mars? When you imagine a home on Mars controlled and shaped by AI, it's easy to wonder whether humans would lose some sense of autonomy. But the surprising truth is that AI might give us more freedom, not less. On a planet where every resource must be carefully managed and every mistake could be fatal, the responsibility of survival would shift away from daily human stress and land in the hands of intelligent systems. That means people could focus on creativity, exploration, and personal expression in a way that feels almost liberating. Instead of worrying about maintaining life support systems or monitoring dangerous conditions, humans could spend their energy shaping their identity within this new world. Inside these AI-designed Martian homes, personal customization would become a core part of daily life. The environment could shift according to your mood, your goals for the day, or even your health needs. If you felt homesick, the lighting could warm into more familiar earth tones. If you needed focus, the system could reduce ambient noise and adjust the temperature to improve concentration. The textures of walls, the softness of furniture, even the scent of the air could adapt to your preferences. And because AI would learn more about you over time, these changes would become almost invisible, happening naturally in the background without you needing to make requests. But customization goes deeper than comfort. AI would also allow residents to experiment with new forms of interior design that aren't possible on Earth. For example, AI-controlled materials could reshape themselves, letting people reconfigure furniture, walls, or storage spaces with a simple voice command. A bedroom could transform into a workspace. A small lounge could expand for a gathering. A quiet reading space could adjust its structure to match the acoustics you prefer. This level of flexibility means that homes wouldn't just be places to live. They would be dynamic environments that evolve alongside the people inside them. AI might also introduce new forms of creativity that merge human imagination with machine precision. Residents could design digital artwork that decorates their walls, create unique light patterns that shift throughout the day, or build virtual windows showing real-time images of Mars' surface. These windows could even switch between views, the sunset over Olympus Mons, the frozen lakes of the north, or a simulated landscape resembling Earth. Instead of being trapped underground, humans would have access to the beauty of two worlds at once. The most interesting part is how AI would handle conflict between personal preference and colony-wide efficiency. If your ideal environment requires more energy or water than the system can safely allocate, the AI might negotiate with you. It could suggest alternatives, provide reasons, or even show simulations of what might happen if resources were stretched too thin. This kind of transparent decision-making could help maintain trust while teaching humans how delicate Martian life truly is. Yet, even with all this technology, one question remains. Would living in an environment where everything adapts to you make life easier? Or would it make humans too dependent on AI for comfort, safety, and even identity? If humans truly lived on Mars in AI-designed homes, our relationship with technology would evolve into something entirely new. Instead of tools we control, these systems would become partners in survival. They would anticipate dangers, solve problems before we even knew they existed, and shape our daily experiences with a level of precision we've never seen on Earth. That level of support could redefine what it means to feel safe. Imagine lying down to sleep knowing the system around you is constantly scanning for microfractures in the walls, monitoring pressure levels, and adjusting air quality to perfection. It would be like living inside a guardian that never sleeps. But even with all its capabilities, AI wouldn't erase the human desire for independence. Over time, people might want to become more involved in the design of their own habitats. On Earth, we build homes that reflect our personalities, our cultural backgrounds, and our emotional needs. On Mars, humans might push AI to help them recreate traditions, rituals, and personal touches that connect them to their origins. Someone from a coastal town might want the gentle sound of waves in their living space. Someone from a busy city might crave a sense of motion or soft background noise that mirrors an urban environment. AI wouldn't just accept these requests, it would study them, refine them, and find ways to incorporate them without wasting critical resources. Kids growing up in these Martian homes would experience life in a way no generation before them ever has. They might learn early that their homes are intelligent, that their environment is responsive, and that technology is not something separate from life but woven into it. Their understanding of space, privacy, and creativity would be shaped by rooms that move, lights that adjust to their learning patterns, and AI companions that help them explore both the real and simulated worlds. For them, Earth might feel like the strange place, one where the environment is fixed instead of flexible. As human life expands on Mars, AI-designed homes could become the blueprint for future off-world living. Technology would learn from every colony, every challenge, every breakthrough. It would improve structures to better handle Mars' brutal dust storms, refine systems to recycle water more efficiently, and even design environments that help the human body cope with reduced gravity. Over decades, these homes might start to look less like protective shelters and more like thriving ecosystems, mini-worlds crafted to support families, communities, and entire societies. But perhaps the most important shift would happen inside the minds of the people living there. When your home listens, learns, and adapts to you, you start seeing it not just as a structure, but as an extension of yourself. You begin to understand how deeply your environment influences your emotions, your health, and your daily habits. And you realize that the combination of human intuition and artificial intelligence might be the key to surviving not just on Mars, but anywhere humanity chooses to explore next. So before we imagine rockets landing or cities forming on the red planet, we should ask a simple question that might determine the entire future of space colonization. If AI designed the place where you lived on Mars, would you trust it enough to call it home?